So we'll be looking at simultaneous linear equations, methods to solve the simultaneous linear equations. When we talk about simultaneous equations, it's about equations that are recurring at the same time. Like we have one equation involving variables x and y, another equation involving the same variables x and y. But x and y has the same value or play the same role in both equations. So when we talk about simultaneous equations or simultaneous equations, there are equations where variables involved in all equations have the same value. Now we have some methods of solving simultaneous equations. In general, we can use four methods. We have four methods, but we are limited to only three. The other method is mainly used in elective or further mathematics. So we will be looking at the three main methods in commerce that can be used to solve simultaneous equations. That is, we have the elimination method, we have the substitution method, and we have the graphical method. So we will first be looking at the elimination method. Now, whenever we meet simultaneous equation question and we want to solve using elimination method, there are some few steps that we need to consider when solving simultaneous equation using the elimination method. One, you have to choose a variable that you want to eliminate. We have the equations where we have x and y in it. You decide whether you want to eliminate x or you want to eliminate y. After choosing the variable you want to eliminate, the next thing is you check the coefficient of the variable you want to eliminate in both equations, in all equations, and make sure that they are equal. So for instance, if I want to eliminate x, I must make sure that x in equation 1, the coefficient of x in equation 1 is the same as coefficient of x in equation 2. If I want to eliminate y, we make sure that coefficient of y in equation 1 is the same as coefficient of y in equation 2. So if in equation 1 we have 5y and equation 2 we have 3y, then we must make them the same. Because 5y and 3y, the coefficient of y in both equations are not the same. So we will be looking at how we make this coefficient also the same. Then the next step is if the signs of the variables in the two equations are the same, subtract the two equations. So if the sign of the variable, maybe the sign of x in equation 1 is negative, and then in equation 2 is also negative, then we subtract. That is if you're eliminating x. We check whether their signs are the same. If it is positive in both equations, still we subtract. But the next statement is saying if the signs of the variable in the two equations are different, add the two equations. So you add the two equations if the signs are different. If x is negative in one equation and positive in the other, then we add the two equations. Let's look at some few examples. Examples. Solve the following simultaneous equations using elimination method. We want to use elimination method to solve the following simultaneous equations. The example 1, we have x plus y is equal to 10, comma, then x minus y is equal to 2. So we first pick the example 1. That means there are two variables here, x and y. But when we add them, we get 10. When we subtract x minus y, we get 2. So that means x and y represent some values. So you have two equations here involving x and y. So if x is 2 in all equations. If y is 1 in all the equations. So this example 1 is saying that x takes a value, y also takes another value in such a way that when I add these values, we are going to get 10. When we subtract these values, we are going to get 2. Let's look at the solution, how it works using the elimination method. For example 1, so for the example 1, these are the equations. So the first thing is we label the equations, equation 1 and equation 2. So the equation 1 is x plus y is equal to 10. And my equation 2 is x minus y is equal to 2. So after labeling the equations, equation 1 and 2, the next thing is you decide which of the variables involved in the equations you want to eliminate. So we have x and y involved in the equations. So you decide now, are we going to eliminate x or we are going to eliminate y? So we say we want to eliminate x. So to eliminate x, now we check if the signs are the same. First, let's see the coefficients. Are the coefficients the same? X in equation 1 and 2. IV, the coefficients of x in equation 1 and 2, are they the same? IV Dzidzor, Farida, the coefficients of x in equation 1 and 2, are they the same? Farida, unmute yourself and answer the question, please. Enam, the coefficient of x in equation 1 and 2, are they the same? Farida, you did not unmute yourself, so I can't hear you. Unmute yourself and talk.
No.
Who can answer the question for us? The coefficient of x in equation 1 and 2.
So they are the same.
And what are the coefficients? What is the coefficient?
1.
1. Good. So since the coefficients of x in equation 1 and 2, the coefficients are the same, what do we do? So now since the coefficients are the same, what we do is we subtract. Because we say we want to eliminate. Eliminate means you have to make that variable go to 0 so that it will not be in the equation anymore. So since the coefficients are the same and we check for the signs, if the signs are the same, then we subtract. That is what I stated in the steps. So if you see equation 1 and equation 2, x is positive in equation 1 and x is positive in equation 2. That means they are the same and they have the same coefficient. So we subtract. When you subtract both equations, we see that the x variable will go to 0. That means it has been eliminated. So we subtract equation 1 from 2 or equation 2 from 1. Any way you do it, you still get the same answer. So it is equation 1 minus equation 2. So when we are subtracting, we subtract the corresponding variables or like terms. So x in equation 1 minus x in equation 2. That will go to 0. Then we go to y. Y in equation 1 minus the y in equation 2. But the y in equation 2 is negative. So it will be y minus negative y. And y minus negative y is positive 2y. Y minus y, it becomes y plus y. So that will give us 2y. Then these like terms also 10 minus 2. So 10 minus 2 will give us 8. Who is confused so far?
Sir.
Yes, answer.
Sir. Sir, please, can you please go over the second step? I didn't get it.
The second step, okay.
Yes, me too.
From where? You mean where we have to eliminate x?
It says where to eliminate the x.
Okay, but I hope you've understood why we are eliminating x. That is the variable we said we are eliminating. So since we are eliminating x, we check whether the coefficients are the same. Are you clear with that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Now the coefficients of the variables are the same. Since they are the same, the next thing is we check whether the signs are the same or not. The sign we are talking about here is whether the signs are positive in one and negative in one. If it is positive in one and one is negative, then they are not the same. But if they're positive, positive, they're the same. If they're negative, negative, they are also the same. So when we go back to our previous rules, we said that if the signs of the variable in the two equations are the same, subtract the two equations. So if the signs are the same, that is if the signs of x in equation 1 and 2 are the same, positive, positive, we subtract. If it is negative, negative, we still subtract. Are you okay with that explanation?
Yes.
And if the signs in the two equations of the variable we are eliminating are different, they're only different when one is positive and one is negative, then in that case we add, making sure that the coefficients are the same, so that when we add, it will go to 0. That is the variable we want to eliminate. Are you clear with the explanation?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So when we come back, now we have the coefficients of x in equation 1 and equation 2 to be 1, 1. That means they are the same. So after checking that, let's now see if the signs are the same, the positive and minus sign. Now in equation 1, x is having positive sign, and in equation 2, x is still having positive sign. That means the signs are the same. So if the signs are the same, we say that we subtract the two equations, considering the variable that we want to eliminate. So we are considering the x. Now our attention is on x. Whether we are subtracting equation 1 and 2 or we are adding. Now since the signs are the same, we subtract equation 2 from equation 1. That will be equation 1 minus 2. Or we subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So we are subtracting equation 2 from 1. That means we have equation 1 minus equation 2. So when we are subtracting, we subtract their corresponding like terms. That is x. We subtract like terms of x in equation 2. Y in equation 1 will subtract like terms of y in equation 2. Then 10 is a number constant. We'll subtract a number which is a constant in equation 2 because they are also like terms. Are you okay with the explanation? So x minus x, the minus sign is outside here because the whole thing in the bracket is the equation 2. So it is equation 1 minus equation 2. So minus the whole bracket is equation 2. So it will be x, and then the minus sign will come and affect the x. So x minus x. That will give us 0. Then the y here is positive in equation 1. So it is y minus y. The y in the bracket is negative, but that is subtracting from y in the equation 1. So y minus the negative outside the bracket, then minus y, the negative also inside the bracket. It becomes y minus y. That is positive y. So we are going to get y plus y, giving us 2y. Now we consider the constants. 10 minus 2, that would be 8. I hope You are clear with the explanation now?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. 2-4 Savannah, you raised up your hand earlier. What is the problem? Let me quickly address it before we continue. 2-4 Savannah. I hope you are also clear. That's fine.
Sir, it's okay.
Okay. So when we have the 2y equals 8, we divide both sides by 2.
Sir, please, I want to ask, is it a continuation or another example?
It's the continuation
Okay,
from here.
okay. Yeah.
So we have the 2y divided by 2 is equal to 8 divided by 2. Then when we divide that, we're going to get y is equal to 4. Yes, Evarista?
Say, say,
Yes.
please, the from where the equation is telling us 2y divided by 2 equals 8 divided by 2. Say, please, what is happening over there?
We are making y the subject. From here,
Okay.
look at from here, 2y equals 8. So there's need we find y, right?
Yeah.
So what do? We divide both sides by what?
2.
Are you okay now?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Welcome. So y is now 4. So we need to go and substitute y, which is 4, into any of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2. So we are picking equation 1. So from equation 1, x plus y is equal to 10. So whenever we see y, we substitute 4 for y. So that will give us x plus 4 is equal to 10. Then we solve for x. That will give us x equals 10 minus 4. Then we have x equals 6. Yes, any question so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So these are the values.
Sir,
Yes.
will you finish and find for x again?
But we found for x already. Yes, you have to find for
Oh,
x
I
again.
mean,
After you finish for y, you have to find for x.
okay.
So now the values are 6 and 4. So you can see that when I add them, 6 plus 4 will give me 10. When we subtract 6 minus 4, we will get a 2 from here. 6 x plus y is 10. That is 6 plus 4 will give us 10. 6 minus 4 will give us 2.
Sir,
Yes.
are you going to do the same thing for the x minus y?
Which same thing?
Like the when we found the y to be 4. So
No,
you
you only picked one equation. You can choose to use equation 2 to look for x using y equals 4. Or you can choose to use equation 1. You still get the same answer. Do you get me clear?
sir, again.
Okay. Yes, Ada is perfect.
Hey, but
Yes.
like after solving for y, when you get the 4, you can you use it in the second equation by doing x minus 4 equals to 2. Then you group like this and
Yes,
say get x is equal to 6.
yes, it's the same. That was what I just explained. That you can choose to use equation 2, someone can choose to use equation 1. You all get the same answer. Are you okay? Perfect. I hope you're okay.
Sir, yes sir.
All right. Now let's look at the other way around. First, we eliminated x. Now let's see if you want to eliminate y. What happens then? Now we want to eliminate y. So from equation 1 and 2, we have to check whether the coefficients are the same. Now we have the coefficient to be 1, 1. After the coefficient, checking for the coefficient, the next thing is we check for the signs, whether they are the same or not. So over here, you could see that the signs are not the same. Y in equation 1 is positive, and y in equation 2 is negative. So what do we do at this point when we are eliminating y? What do we do? Perfect. Yes, Savannah. Yes, Savannah. Oh, sorry, your network is very bad. Ramsey, I saw your hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
if you want to eliminate y and the variables are not equal, we add them. If the signs are not equal, we add them.
Okay. So the coefficients are the same, but the signs are not the same, right?
Yes, sir.
So we add equation 1 to equation 2.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So we have the coefficient of y to be 1, 1, but the signs of the coefficients are not the same. That's positive or a negative one. So in this case, we add equation 1 to equation 2. That is when we are eliminating y. So we do the same thing, adding the corresponding like terms. X plus x will give us 2x. Then y plus minus y, that becomes y minus y, will give us 0. Then 10 plus 2 will result in 12. So from here, what we do is we have to divide through by 2 to get the value of x. So that will give us 2x divided by 2 is equal to 12 divided by 2. Then our x will then be equal to 6. So when we eliminate y, it will remain only x. When we eliminate x, it will remain only y. Good. After finding for x by eliminating y, you're now going to substitute the value of x into any of the equations, either equation 1 or equation 2, to make us find for the value of y. So x plus y equals 10. I'm using from equation 1. And x is 6. So I'll substitute 6 for x. So that will give us 6 plus y is equal to 10. Then y is equal to 10 minus 6. Y is equal to 4. So whether you eliminated x or y, you are still going to get the same thing. So someone can choose to eliminate x, someone can choose to eliminate y, by just use only one at a time. But I just wanted to look at how they work when you're eliminating x or when you're eliminating y. If you choose to eliminate x, that is okay. You get the answers, it's all right. You need not to go eliminate y differently, no. Just use one way. Someone can choose to eliminate y. Someone can choose to eliminate x. Any questions so far? All right. In the absence of any question, we continue. Let's look at the example 2. So for the example 2, we have 2 equations, but this is quite complex from the previous one. So we're going to look at the technique that we can use to make the coefficients to be the same. In this case, they are never the same. So first of all, sometimes there will be a variable which will have the same coefficient and another variable which will not have the same coefficient. So if that happens, make sure that you choose the easiest way. So just use the equation, the variable that have the same coefficient. That is easy and simple. But in this case, no variable is having the coefficient to be the same. So let's look at the variable that I want to eliminate. And as usual, you're eliminating x first. To eliminate x, the coefficient of x in equation 1 and 2 must be the same. But when we look at this, in equation 1 and 2, the coefficients are not the same. We have here 2 in equation 1 and 5 in equation 2 being the coefficients of x. So they are never the same. So you have to make them the same. So to do so, multiply equation 2 by the coefficient of x in equation 1 and multiply equation 1 by the coefficient of x in equation 2. I will go over again. To do so, multiply equation 2 by the coefficient of x in equation 1 and multiply equation 1 by the coefficient of x in equation 2. So when I pick coefficient of x in equation 1, that will be 2. And I'll multiply that 2 by equation 2. So I'll multiply the whole equation 2 by coefficient of x in equation 1. So that will give us 2 times 5x minus 2 times y is equal to 2 times 3. Then we're going to get 10x minus 2y is equal to 6. Please, who is confused?
Sir, please. Sir, please me.
I'm confused.
Please come again.
I'm confused.
Go over.
Okay, that's all right. I'll go over. Don't worry.
Not the whole show.
Don't worry.
Whole show.
Okay.
I shall mute yourself.
What I'm saying is this. We have 2 equations. And we are considering whether the variable we want to eliminate have the same coefficient in both equations. But we want to eliminate x. And that x is not having the coefficients to be the same. So for that, we have to make sure that we make the coefficient to be the same. Before we can make the coefficients to be the same, that is just the coefficient of x to be the same. What we need to do is we take coefficient of x in equation 1, that is 2, and multiply by equation 2. So I'll multiply equation 2 by 2. That is the coefficient of x in equation 1. Is someone confused with that statement? All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying that we pick coefficients of x in equation 1 and 2 and multiply equation 2 by coefficient of x in equation 1. Now, coefficient of x in equation 1 is 2. So what we do is we multiply that 2 by the whole of equation 2. So that is going to give us 2 times 5x minus 2 times y is equal to 2 times 3. So I've multiplied the 2, which is coefficient of x in equation 1, by the whole of equation 2. So I'll get 10x minus 2y is equal to 6. I hope you're okay so far. Carlo Grace, do you have something to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we've multiplied equation 2 by coefficient of x in equation 1 already. Yes, Savannah? Savannah to 4.
Say,
Yes.
so can you hear me? My
I can
question
hear
is,
you.
so if you are using the
Savannah,
does that mean if it is if yeah?
I can't hear you. Start your question, please.
So my question is, as we are finding for y in using the
Come again.
first
Your line is breaking.
coefficient to multiply the
Your line is
second
breaking.
So let
coefficient,
her send it through the chat.
that's using the two way. So that means if you are finding for if what someone
Mute yourself now.
wants you
Okay, Savannah, let me answer you. What I'm saying is, first, you choose a variable that you want to eliminate. So here we are saying that on the screen, you are saying that you want to eliminate x. So if you eliminate x, eventually you are going to have y left. So to eliminate x, the coefficient of...
y
Oops. So sad, I can't still hear you. Savannah, I wish I could hear you clearly and answer the problem, but I can't get you. Sorry for that anyway. Check on your network and reach me back. I will attend to you. Who else have a question to ask? All right, let's continue. And again, we pick 5, which is the coefficient of x in equation 2, and multiply by the whole of equation 1. So that's what is happening at the down here. We have 5 times equation 1. So we multiply 5 by the whole equation 1. So we have 5 times 2x plus 5 times 3y is equal to 5 times 8. When we simplify, that is going to give us 10x plus 15y is equal to 40. So previously, after multiplying equation 2 by the coefficient of x in equation 1, we label that one equation 3 because this becomes a new equation. And here, after doing the same thing, multiply equation 1 by coefficient of x in equation 2, we label that equation to be equation 4. So you have new equations, equation 3 and equation 4. Now how you consider equation 3 and 4? Equation 3 is 10x minus 2y equals 6. And equation 4 is 10x plus 15y equals 40. So we are now using equation 4 and equation 3. And you could see that now the coefficient of x in equation 4 and 3 are the same. They are now 10, 10. So from this point, we can eliminate x. So to eliminate the x, since the coefficients are the same, we check if the signs are also the same or not. And when we do that, you could see that the signs are the same, positive, positive, 10x, 10x in equation 3 and equation 4. So what we need to do is we subtract. That is if the signs are the same. So since the signs are the same and we are subtracting equation 3 from equation 4, we have 10x minus 10x will go to 0. Then 15y minus 2y, that becomes 15y plus 2y. So it will be 17y. Then 40 minus 6, that would be 34. Then we divide through by 17 to get the value of y. And when we do that, you're going to get 17y divided by 17 equals 34 divided by 17. And y is equal to 2. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So we substitute y equals 2 into any of the equations. So I picked equation 1. And substitute y equals 2 wherever I see y. So that gives us 2x plus 3 into bracket 2 is equal to 8. Then 2x plus 6 equals 8. 2x is equal to 8 minus 6. Then we have 2x is equal to 2. Then we have x is equal to 1. Yes, Justin Jamasi.
Check,
Yes.
check. So please,
Yes.
my concern is if we form two new equations,
Okay.
equations 3 and 4,
Okay.
and we would like to solve for x, can we put y into any of these two equations we formed already?
Yes. Yes. You can. But always what you have to do is make sure that you pick the simplest equation that you can easily solve.
Okay.
You consider the simple method or step. Though you can use the
Right.
equation 3 and 4, you get the same answer.
Mm.
But you see, that one seems quite complex than this. But you can still use it. It will give you the same thing. If only you will not commit mistakes.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, Sadem.
Say,
Yes. Sadem, I'm
to
listening.
the y2 into
You said?
I said, can we substitute y into the real equation we've been given in the question?
We have two equations given in the question. Right?
Yes.
So you can substitute y into any of
Yes,
them.
please.
Either equation 1 or equation 2. Just pick any of the equations and substitute y into it.
Okay.
Are you clear now?
Yes.
All right. Any further question? Okay. If you don't have any further question, it's almost done. So let's quickly look at the other way around. Now to eliminate y. Yes, Savannah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please come again. Come again.
From where?
The whole show.
From how you got the 17y in these things.
Eric, keep quiet.
Savannah,
Say,
do you understand this part from equation 4 and 3? 10x
no,
plus
please.
50. You don't know how we get the 10x plus 50 equals 40?
Actually, I went off.
You said?
Actually, I went off.
You went off. Oops.
Yeah.
All right.
Off to her.
So what I was saying is this. From equation 1 and 2, you could say that we want to eliminate x, but the coefficients are not the same. So what we do is we pick coefficient of x in equation 1 and multiply by equation 2. So in equation 1, what is the coefficient of x? Savannah, please let's hurry up. Savannah,
2.
2. So we multiply the whole equation 2 by that 2 because of we are eliminating x. So everything we do should revolve around x. So we multiply the whole equation 2 by 2. So that will give us 2 times 5x minus 2 times y is equal to 2 times 3. Then we have 10x minus 2y equals 6. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
So we label that one equation 3. This is our new equation. Okay. Now again, we pick the coefficient of x in equation 2 and multiply by the whole equation 1. What is the coefficient of x in equation 2?
5.
5. So you multiply the whole equation 1 by the 5. So that will give us 5 times 2x plus 5 times 3y is equal to 5 times 8. Then we're going to get 10x plus 15y is equal to 40. Then we label this new equation, equation 4. Are you okay with that?
Yes, please.
So now we have two new equations. That's the equation 3 here, 10x minus 2y equals 6. And equation 4, 10x plus 15y is equal to 40. So now we are eliminating the x. So from equation 3 and 4, you could see that the coefficients are now the same. 10x, 10x in equation 3 and 4. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
So since the coefficients are the same, we check for the signs. The signs are also the same. I have 10x in equation 4, and in equation 3, I have 10x. So the signs are positive, positive. So what do we do? Savannah, what do you do?
Subtract. Subtract.
We subtract, good. So equation 4 minus 3, or equation 3 minus 4, whichever way it is. But here we have equation 4 minus 3. So that's going to give us 10x plus 15y is equal to 40. Minus the whole equation 3 is what is in the bracket. So you subtract the corresponding like terms. So 10x minus 10x is 0. 15y minus 2y. It becomes 15y plus 2y. Negative, negative becomes positive. So 15y plus 2y is 17y. Then equal to 40 minus 6. That will give us 34. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So we are looking for y. So you have to divide both sides by 17. So when we divide both sides by 17, we have y to be equal to 2. I hope you're okay now.
Yes, please.
Okay. So just go and substitute y equals 2 into any of the equations, either equation 1 or 2, to find for x. But here we have equation 1. So 2x plus 3 into bracket 2 is equal to 8. We substitute the 2 for y into equation 1. So we have 2x plus 6 equals 8. Then 2x is equal to 8 minus 6. So 2x equals 2. When we divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 1. I hope you're okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And it's time. We'll end it here.
Okay.
God willing, see you on Friday.
Yes.
Please, always
Okay,
learn, okay?
Okay.
Don't forget to practice and look for more questions to solve.
okay, sir.
Have a
Okay.
nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.